This quotation occurs as Kathy's introducing herself in chapter 1 at the very beginning of the book. After this passage, the chapter comes to an end, and Kathy continues to reminisce about her experience at Helsham in the next few chapters. This passage quickly establishes her relentless and characteristic impulse to look back on the past, which guides the rest of the novel. This also establishes the centrality of Helsham, introducing the importance of Ruth and Tommy in her life. The main theme of this passage is loss and recovery, shown through her interactions with a donor who asks her to share her memories of Helsham so he can forget about his own memories of his childhood. This shows the loss of identity and recovery of a new one through memories shaping us. The character of Kathy is slowly being unraveled, and we can see how she is a natural carer. In the passage, she recalls a donor who is close to completion, which immediately sets a somber and ominous tone through the diction of the passage, such as drugs, pain and exhaustion, and sleepless nights. However, Ishiguro builds a contrasting tone between how Kathy recalls the memories in a sweet and sentimental tone, and how the donor evokes an ominous and somber tone. The contrasting tones show us that dark moments in life can be subdued by memories. Evidently, he didn't ask for fantasies. Instead, he asks for her memories, to be able to make it his own. He wants to collect positive memories. Ishiguro introduces the theme of loss and recovery of memories, and how recovery happens best when you focus on only the positives, and touching on the last line in the passage, embracing how lucky you are. In lines 16 to 21, an array of things are mentioned through interesting sentence structures such as the numerous commas and the paralleling of detailed recounts of her memory. She presents her memory as a collection of detail, which touches on the fact that memories are a collection, which symbolizes a real collection, something that's sacred that should be stored and is special to people's character and passion. Her ability to remember such great detail foreshadows how detailed the book will be in its explanation of situation and implicit theme connections. It says big things and little things in lines 17 to 18, which shows his eager attitude about wanting to know everything and trying to fill all the gaps in his memory and replace the other ones. At the same time, in line 12, interesting syntax techniques are used to convey his eager and interrogative attitude. His persistence in lines 24 to 26 shows how he is getting what he wants from this. And again, Ishiguro sends the message that we should cherish our memories, alluding to the main theme, loss and recovery. The italicized remember in line 28 not only emphasizes the donor's intentions to remember his new memories, but also allows the audience to think about how lucky they are to be able to remember the positives. This also shows the difficulties and worthlessness clones feel that didn't go to Helsham, because in lines it says even the ones that did attend Helsham did have some suspicions behind their identity, but they still don't rebel because, and we could see that as he's donating right now. An interesting fact about the narration of the book is that it's done through Kathy, and she speaks in a way that makes the audience feel like they are part of the story. In line 35, it reads, "All the rest of us." Us. By us, she refers explicitly to Helsham students. However, implicitly, we could take that in as us, as the reader. She uses inclusive language for a connection to be drawn, which further allows for the underlying thematic message to be sent across. The loss and stripping of identity is something we can see in our own life, as, for example, residential schools that we learn about in history class. They were stripped of their identities. It happens all the time. But the recovery here that's demonstrated is through creating a new identity, and that being of Kathy's. The structure of the passage shows Kathy's thought process. In the beginning of the passage, she wants to forget Hilsham, while in the end she states that she is lucky to remember it. The warm and sentimental tone she narrates through, especially in the middle of the passage, where she is reminiscing on her past, shows how she is progressively softening up to the donor and starting to understand what he wants. At the end of the passage, she uses repetition for the word understood, and this shows how she understands how he feels and what he wants. This allows for us to understand her character and how she is a natural carer with a tendency to look for reasoning and acceptance. This touches on the character development, which is a pivotal aspect of this passage, as it does take place in the beginning of the novel, the exposition part of the plot. Throughout this passage, the audience is able to gather an idea of these clones and how they have a limited time. And again, Ishiguro advocates the importance of memories and the losses that happen in significance to who they are. I think this is interesting in terms of the type of book this is as well. It's a dystopian novel. This meaning bad, and topia meaning a place. It's a bad place. However, it's trying to highlight the positive. It's trying to highlight how lucky they are. It's trying to highlight the fact that there is good in every bad. In conclusion, the passage develops Kathy's character and shows the direction and theme Ishiguro extends throughout the entire novel, as later we can see she experiences losses of people when Tommy and Ruth die. However, how she recovers from it is very interesting. Loss and recovery can be looked at as literal and also implicit. He, by this I mean there is always a literal meaning that we can look at, which refers to the death of Tommy and Ruth, those losses. But the losses that we analyze for this passage refers to losses of memory and losses of identity. He has many different underlying messages in this passage. He wants the audience to um, recognize that memories are a part of our identity, regardless of if it is real or not. If we believe it is, and then all, and it's all we know, then it's a part of us.